The girlhood dream is turning into a nightmare for my precious little Red Riding Hood. Poor Jennifer Renee, or as I like to call her, Jen Psaki. When she was working in the White House, her given title of press secretary was just that. It was a title. What Jen really was a professional dancer. Not an exotic dancer, but a professional dancer. To her credit, she was absolutely brilliant at dancing around press questions. Hey, Jen, I heard Joe Biden passed out from drinking too much sake. Is it true that he is still asleep? Excellent question, Quentin. I can confirm the president is not asleep. He spent the morning finishing his coloring book. After that, he took an important meeting with fake Dr. Jill Biden. Right. But what about now, at 3 in the afternoon? Is he asleep? Next question. Jen Psaki, she was a hell of a lot better than whatever that is who identifies as the White House press secretary today. If it were not for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and her affinity for the woke cucumber, Karine Van Dam, or whatever the hell her name is, she would be working the door at the Shag and Dragon. Now, whether you loved her or you loathed her, and for most people, it's the latter. But you got to admit, Jen Psaki, she was pretty good at dodging questions. She possessed this unique ability to say a lot while saying absolutely nothing. But Little Red Riding Hood, she had far greater dreams than working at the White House. Her aspirations were far greater than wasting her time working for a president who thinks he is actually married to a doctor. Jen Psaki had dreams of being a media star. With her experience dealing with the media, Big Red, she thought that she could be a star in the mainstream media. I can be the next Dana Perino. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think so. MSNBC hired Jen Psaki when she had minimal to no experience working in mainstream media. She spent some time at CNN working as a political commentator back in 2017. Other than that, Jen Psaki, no experience in cable news. That sounds like white privilege to me. That is not your typical career trajectory. You don't just walk into a weekend time slot with zero experience, unless, of course, you are privileged like Jen Psaki. If you want to build an audience, whether it's on cable news or other platforms like YouTube, you gotta possess certain intangibles, things that cannot be taught. You need charisma. When it comes to charisma, you either have it or you don't. Charisma is what draws people to you. It's what keeps them watching you. Most charismatic people, they're also entertaining. But the most important intangible when it comes to building and maintaining an audience, relatability. People have to be able to relate to you. More importantly, you need to be able to relate to your audience. You've got to have an understanding of what your audience wants and expects from you. Unfortunately for Jen Psaki, she possesses none of these intangibles. I spent a lot of time yesterday afternoon watching various clips from her show on MSNBC. Now, I went into this with an open mind. Even though I had already glanced at her ratings and had a feeling as to why her ratings have dramatically decreased, I wanted to give Jen Psaki a chance. I have nothing against Jen Psaki. I don't look at her with disgust like I do with Joy Reid or Keith Olbermann. I know she's new to this medium, but I gotta be honest with you. Watching Jen Psaki, it is painful. It was horrendous. Jen Psaki debuted with MSNBC on March 19th. Now, they spent months hyping and promoting this show. MSNBC paired her up with a segment with Joy Reid, where they spent several minutes talking about their favorite brooms. The most entertaining part was when Joy Reid asked Big Red about her wig. Jen, where do you buy your hair? This is my natural hair, Lucifer. Wow, I am so jealous. Hell is always so hot, my hair refuses to grow. Besides my back hair, I can't convince hair to grow anywhere else on my body. The big debut of Big Red on March 19th drew close to 1.1 million viewers. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. That is a great number for a Sunday morning show in cable news. If Tiffer the Bongo Sniffer was drawing 1 million viewers, she would still be complaining about mythical racism every weekend on MSNBC. Instead, the Tiffer has disappeared into the woke abyss. My inside sources tell me They last spotted the tiffer at a hot dog stand. She was looking disheveled. She was begging the attendant for a steamy wiener. She didn't have the money to pay. She was requesting a free Frank. The guy who owned the hot dog stand, he identified as the evil white man. The tiffer told him, due to reparations, he owed her a free Frank. Unfortunately for the tiffer, the owner didn't see it the same way. He refused to even offer her his other Frank. For 3 weeks, Jen Psaki, she was able to maintain her ratings. Now, she was never able to top her debut audience number, but for 3 weeks, Big Red was able to keep ratings over the million viewer mark. But eventually, the inevitable happened. Ratings took a plunge. Over the last month, Jen Psaki has fallen to averaging 824,000 viewers. Her ratings have declined double digits. In her 7 weeks on MSNBC, Jen Psaki has only grown her audience in 1 of those 7 weeks. And that was last week, when she was coming off a record low of 765,000 viewers. Now, I know this is not cause for concern yet. It's still early. Tomorrow is going to be the 2-month anniversary of Jen Psaki becomes a media superstar. But ratings are definitely trending in the wrong direction. It would be one thing if Jen Psaki was showing promise as a performer. It would be one thing if she was showing some glimmer of hope, some semblance of relatability. One of the problems for Jen Psaki, she is making a rookie mistake. For some reason, she thought she was getting into cable news in 2017 instead of 2023. She is making the same mistake that Donnie Lemon made at CNN. Now, this path, it worked for a couple of years for Donnie, but the strategy is no longer effective. It's antiquated. Jen Psaki is trying to build her audience by constantly bashing Donald Trump. Jen, we've seen this movie before. It's been done better by more talented people. If you want to know where this road ends, just take a look at some of your former colleagues over at CNN. Chris Cuomo tried building his career by bashing Donald Trump and his supporters. Has anyone seen Chris Cuomo lately? Hey, it's me, Chrissy C. He spent months last summer begging for acceptance in the media. He tried marketing himself as a free agent. Come sign the hottest free agent in media. No one takes shirtless selfies better than Chrissy. No one lip massages a good stiffy cigar like Chrissy. I'll work for free. Please hire Chrissy C. Chris Cuomo built his career bitching about supporters of Donald Trump. Where did that land him? A primetime spot on News Nation, a network that no one watches. Donnie Lemon did the same thing. How'd that work out for Donnie? Brian Stelter, Travis Noah, James Corden. Do I need to keep going? There have been countless members of the mainstream media who did nothing but bash Donald Trump and anyone wearing a MAGA hat. Look, I am not saying Donald Trump is immune to criticism. I'm not saying he's immune to jokes. But when you base your entire platform complaining about a president who hasn't been in office in over 2 years and the 80 million people who support him, it just doesn't work out for you. Viewers, they gave Jen Psaki a chance. They tuned in the first 3 weeks out of curiosity, wondering what taste Big Red was offering. They quickly found out what the rest of us already knew. Big Red tastes very bitter. I put together a compilation of some of Jenny's greatest hits. Watch it for yourself. This is the most entertaining clips I could find. You tell me if this is what you want to wake up to every Sunday morning. Roll the film.
As his legal problems continue to mount, Donald Trump held the first major rally of his 2024 campaign last night. In many ways, it was a typical Trump speech, maybe with a little less energy, with lots of self-promotion, flat-out lies, and the usual dose of red meat for his base. What did stand out to me, though, was Trump's embrace of the insurrection. The rally opened with a song recorded by a group of January 6th defendants, while a video from that violent attack played on the screens behind the former president. I personally think this argument over the president's age is overwrought, in part because part of the argument is his experience. And also, by the way, Donald Trump is 76 years old and he's currently the front runner.
Occasionally turn on Fox prime time and see what happens?
No.
Just to see?
Not occasionally. Every night.
Every night. And do you think Democrats should still be appearing on Fox or should they not be appearing on Fox?
It contributes to the mental health crisis in the state. So on the basis of one's own personal conditions, I would not recommend it.
Was any of that entertaining to you? Did you find any of that to be informative, or was it the same regurgitation that we see from everyone else in the woke media? Let me tell you the biggest problem for Jen Psaki. This is the reason her ratings are rapidly declining. Actually, I've got two reasons. Number one, Jen Psaki is not offering anything different. What's the difference between Jen Psaki and Wolf Blitzer? Nothing. Hell, in this day and age, they might even choose to identify as the same gender. But number two, Jen Psaki is a watered-down version of everything else you see on MSNBC. I spent 45 minutes yesterday afternoon trying to find something controversial from Jen Psaki's show. She's been on the air for 2 months now. Did you even know? In the last 2 months, how many times have you read stories about something that was said by Jen Psaki? Joy Reid is revolting. Joy Reid can be downright evil. But Joy Reid is controversial. In the business of television, controversy creates awareness, and awareness brings in the ratings. Unless, of course, you're Donnie Lemon. He was constantly generating headlines and people still refuse to watch. But the bottom line is, Jen Psaki's not entertaining. This is not the 1960s. People don't tune into the news for the information. We can get information anywhere. People watch to be entertained. They watch people they relate to or agree with. Joy Reid is entertaining. I agree with nothing she says, but credit where credit is due. Joy Reid's entertaining. Jen Psaki is horrendous. I have been more entertained watching my nephew's Little League baseball team, and believe me, that shit is painfully boring. Now, can Jen Psaki grow? Can she be developed? I mean, it's possible, but she cannot be taught charisma. Even supporters of Jen Psaki are complaining about how bland her show is. One guy in one of the forums I was looking at, he said that he watches on mute so he can spank his wanker without falling asleep from boredom. Now, besides the wanker spanking part, I am not making that up. That was a real comment. Now, Jen Psaki, she's safe for now. Luckily for her, she doesn't have any competition from CNN, and let's be real, no one expects her to compete or beat Fox News. But if these ratings continue their descent, if she settles in around the 500,000 viewer mark, her career at MSNBC will be over. But give me your thoughts. Jen Psaki starts off strong at MSNBC, then experiences the inevitable ratings decline. Now, I know I only shared a couple of clips with you guys, but in those couple of clips, do you think Jen Psaki has a long-term career in the mainstream media? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.